ノーマルモード。任務確認。視界良好。発進します。リフレクトフォース。リフレクトフォース。リフレクトフォース。リフレクトフォース。リフレクトフォース。リフレクトフォース。リフレクトフォース。リフレクトフォース。リフレクトフォース。リフレクトフォース。リフレクトフォース。リフレクトフォース。リフレクトフォース。リフレクトフォース。リフレクトフォース。リフレクトフォース。リフレクトフォース。リフレクトフォース。リフレクトフォース。リフレクトフォース。
The stage one.
すべて視界良好。発進します。リフレクトフォース。リフレクトフォース。リフレクトフォース。リフレクトフォース。リフレクトフォース。リフレクトフォース。リフレクトフォース。リフレクトフォース。 レクトフォース。
わあ。
リフレクトフォース。リフレクトフォース。
I missed the ball. Oh, okay. Got it.
Prominence bomber. Reflect force. Reflect force. Reflect force.
Yeah, dropped one Vulcan in, but still doing pretty good.
すべて私。視界良好発信します。
Man, if I had that Vulcan in, I have like what? 950, 960 mil multiplier.
リフレクトフォース。リフレクトフォース。リフレクトフォース。リフレクトフォース。リフレクトフォース。リフレクトフォース。リフレクトフォース。リフレクトフォース。プロミネンスボンバー。リフレクトフォース。リフレクトフォース。リフレクトフォース。反乱軍暫定本部を壊滅。
そう、この先か、フェハン、そう。
視界良好発信します。リフレクトフォース。リフレクトフォース。リフレクトフォース。リフレクトフォース。リフレクトフォース。リフレクトフォース。
little sketch. I got fail
リフ
here.
レクトフォース リフレクトフォース 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 リフレクトフォース
It's unfortunate.
リフレクトフォース
Still going good though.
リフレクトフォース 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 プロミネンスボンバー 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 リフレクトフォース リフレクトフォース プロミネンスボンバー リフレクトフォース 制御不能脱出しますリフレクトフォース
Alright, got this.
封印がここまで開いているなんてもう私にこの封印を戻すことはできないこうなって2視界良好発進しますリフレクトフォースプロミネンスボンバーリフレクトフォースプロミネンスボンバーリフレクトフォース制御不能脱出しますリフレクトフォースプロミネンスボンバーリフレクトフォースプロミネンスボンバー
Oh, you're not dead? Seriously?
リフレクトフォース
Okay, fine.
リフレクトフォース
I dropped a lot of points on that last Balkanin. But I really wanted to make sure I killed that pod.
視界良好発進しますリフレクトフォースリフレクトフォース
really killed that part.
リフレクトフォース。リフレクトフォース。プロミネンスボンバー。リフレクトフォース。リフレクトフォース。リフレクトフォース。リフレクトフォース。リフレクトフォース。リフレクトフォース。リフレクトフォース。リフレクトフォース。
Ah, come on.
リフレクトフォース。
Ah, I missed the last Vulcan in. It cost quite a bit, actually. Okay, well, I'm still on pace.
視界良好発進します。リフレクトフォース。リフレクトフォース。リフレクトフォース。
Might have been a little early.
リフレクトフォース。
These Vulcans all suck, though.
リフレクトフォース。リフレクトフォース。リフレクトフォース。リフレクトフォース。リフレクトフォース。リフレクトフォース。リフレクトフォース。
Oh, that's it. That's it. See. Yes! Ah, thank God, finally.
記録更新。
Ah, this game.
アーク。それは古代に製造された平和を生み出すための機械。
Like, stage 7, phase 1 is the only real hard part, but like, even so, you go into like phase 2 and 3,
これお姉ちゃんだよ。
and like,
最後のお別れに。
it's like, I know it's easy, but still, I'm just like worried, like, oh, if I make like one stupid mistake, everything just goes in the can. Ah, thanks, Sam Knight. Yeah, GG indeed.
運命とは抗えないもの。
I'm actually really glad I got this before this weekend too, because I'm flying out to visit family, so I wouldn't have had time to play for like another week after. So I wanted to play while I'm still like fresh.
この俺を
And we'll watch out the ending. I like this ending.
全てお嬢のおかげだ。いいだろう。
So anime. Yeah, finally got the 80. Christ.
私にも生き
Like,
るということ
it's cool too, because like
理解できるか
my
もしれません。
original goal when I first started playing this game this year again was just 70. Like, I got that pretty quickly. And then it's like,
リフレクトフォースを逆
well, let's just keep pushing and see how far I can go.
ご
But
く
like,
全ての力場を
yeah, I wasn't
接触させ
expecting to get anywhere close to 80.
リフレクト
Like
ク
maybe
ラッ
like
クを起こす
75,
リフレクトフォー
77,
ス
and
最
just
大
kept like
出力
inching
パ
forward.
ワー逆転行くぞ
Oof. I know technically I can
俺
do
たち
81,
まだ
like
生きてる
maybe 82 if I play like literally perfectly, but I don't know. 80 was like the last really big milestone I really wanted to hit. Yeah, it would have been so frustrating being stuck in 79.99. Yeah. Oh god, when I got that 79.9 yesterday, like, I mean, I was still kind of happy, like, just to get a PB, but it's like, I had such a terrible stage 4 in that run. If I had just played like, even like an inch closer to how I normally play stage 4, that would have been 80 easily.
ここは一体どこなんでしょう。ここは周囲の地形および
Hey, look at that.
緯
Like,
度経度か
I
ら
love like Relugo's like they never explain what his like little like smiley face thing is. He just has like
祖国セルベニアだというの
he has this like smiley face familiar that just follows him around everywhere. I love its expressions. I do kind of want to try a Relugo run just because like
ロストテクノロジーの関係者確認
there's like 0 videos for
全
him,
て
right?
消えちま
So
ったみたいだな
it'd be cool to do like a little bit with him.
私
Maybe I'll rest around with that a little bit before I move on to the next game.
全ては
I can kind of take it easy now that I hit like the big goal I really wanted.
敵のなす技というのか
I kind of want to mess around with Reflect Laser a little bit too. I think it'd be fun to kind of figure out what you can do with
それ
that.
は皆さん知っていることじゃ
He looks happy but in a stone way. Yeah, he's totally a stoner.
俺は何もしちゃいないぜ俺はただの仲間殺しさ仲間殺しが仲間のために命は
Like all his follows like his facial expressions too. Like I like the really angry one during the stage 4 transition.
数多くの伝説武勲を残した航空機兵団ギガウィングスも
Oof.
時代の変革とともにその規模を縮小させていった戦場で名を馳せし強者たちもまた時代の新しい
Yeah, I still got a little bit more Giga Wing 2 left in me. I'll play around with some of the other characters a little bit. I'll mess around with Lugo, mess around with Reflect Laser. I like the score attack mode in this game too, actually. It's like the doing single stages. Like they had a second multiplier in that score attack too, so it's like multiplier, and that gets multiplied by another multiplier, and you got like your metal counter. It's just like so many formulas.
M カラス G ガルコと並び時代を代表する大映画女優となる
Alright, GG. Yeah, save that shit.
意外にアーケードステージはステージランアーケードランキング
Yeah. First 80.